If you put your destination, where it is you're wanting to go with your business, with your goals, into like a GPS, you put an address in. Most important thing GPS does is give you accurate directions, step-by-step directions, matter of fact, and alternative routes to make sure that you can reach your goal. The most important factor out of that equation is putting in your exact location to where you are right now. If you don't do this part, it's going to spit out directions that don't make any sense to you. And then it's going to be frustrating because you're trying to get to where it's telling you to go, but you told it in the beginning that you weren't where you were. Pretending to be somewhere you're not, just for the sake of, doesn't help anybody. And no one, even the GPS, is not tied to the outcome, not how fast you get there, not making sure that you do get there. It just makes sure that you have the way. You understand which direction to go. So the first step is giving it your exact location, where you are right now. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take a look at how to assess your financial health and make it less painful than a financial root canal. Instead of saying, you'll be like,
But first things first, let's talk about what you need to check. Think of it like a financial checkup at the doctor's office.
Or the dentist. You need to know your income, expenses, savings, debt, and investments. These are your financial vitals.
And for those of you who have spent time with us, you know exactly where we're going. What are your numbers? Do you know what's coming in? Do you know what's going out?
To do that, we have a worksheet where you can grab all of this information and put it in one place. We call this the Velocity Banking Workbook because a lot of people need this information to start their velocity banking journey. However, you can use this just to gather your numbers. For a lot of people, this is like a come to Jesus moment. This is the moment where they go, I thought I had more cash flow than I did. Or they learn that they actually do have more cash flow than they originally had assumed. This is really important and we can't stress this enough. This step right here, even though some people are so afraid of doing it, can impact the speed at which you reach your goals, can impact the direction in which you travel from that point. It impacts everything. Knowing your numbers is really important. So check the description below for the link on how to access that free workbook. I mean, seriously, it's free. Go get it.
So let's break this down. Let's first start by tracking your income. How much money is coming in every month? And don't forget any tax-deferred dollars that may be going towards traditional retirement accounts. We want to account for everything coming in. That way we can have the best assessment possible as to what our overall cash flow might be.
Next, list all of your expenses, and I mean all of them. Those daily coffee runs, they all add up. This is where some people don't want to be honest, but you're not hurting us if you don't.
And this may seem easy, but when we truly take a deep dive into your expenses,
those multiple subscriptions, ties, and other expenses that you might only note them as a credit card expense. But what specifically is it? This is where you would log that down so that you can count for it.
And you might actually be surprised at how much is actually leaving your household.
Most people are. So now check your savings. Do you have an emergency fund that's collecting dust, that's not growing, that's not helping you? If not, don't worry about it. The cash flow should be the most important factor that you're paying attention to.
Right, not how much money is sitting in some savings account making you 0.02%. The objective here is to understand what's going in and going out so that we can identify your cash flow. And this might sound strange, but we actually want to put that dollar amount in savings to work as well. It plays a large role in identifying how much cash flow you actually have and how quickly you can address debt.
And the reason this is so important is when we get to start logging and listing all of your debt. Now, this part is just between you and God. You're going to list them all down. I mean, all of them, anything that you're making a payment on, any line of credit, any loan, anything that you owe a debt to. You're going to list that here. How much do you owe? What are your interest rates? And what is your monthly payment? What is your monthly payment and what are you paying? Those could be two different amounts, and it's also important to note that as well.
These are those monthly payments that have a minimum payment, but it's more than likely you've been paying an extra amount, hoping that the balance is being reduced quickly, only to learn that not much progress has really been made.
Okay, finally, we want to look at your investments. And this is kind of a tricky one because a lot of people might have put your home or your mortgage on the debt page or on the list of debts because you owe a payment, right? It's a debt that you owe. However, your home is an asset, and so it would go into this class instead.
And finally, take a look at your investments. Are they diversified? Are all of your eggs in one basket?
Now it's time to analyze them.
Do you have enough saved for emergencies? Have you identified where your leverage is, and do you know how to access it?
If your financial health isn't looking so good, don't panic. The first step to fixing it is first knowing what needs to be fixed. So let's just go do that.
So here are some tips to improve your financial health. And you know the basics. Cut your unnecessary expenses. Increase your income. Like that's ingenious. Reduce or eliminate high interest debt. But we all know that it's just not that easy. If it was, you wouldn't be watching this video.
Yeah, for us, we knew all those things too, but it wasn't helping move the needle fast enough until we implemented velocity banking.
If you've been watching this channel for a while, you know where I'm going. Adding a strategy like velocity banking allows you to take debt elimination to a different level. Why? Because it allows you to get multiple uses out of the same dollar. It allows you to leverage a tool like a line of credit, a credit card, or some other debt tool. You want to see the power of velocity banking? Just subscribe. We got a ton of videos and case studies of hundreds of subscribers just like you who've been able to eliminate debt and increase their cash flow, while also identifying other areas of leverage within their life to help them get to 10. This is only a fraction of who we've helped. And maybe you'll be next.
Reviewing your financial health, doing a financial health check should be done regularly. It's not like a one-time thing. So if this was stressful for you, know that it won't be stressful the next time. For some people, this is like an emotional process. This is not just math, right? But this is something that should be done regularly. This is less about how you feel about the changes that need to be made and more about how you feel about achieving your goal. Remember, pretending to be somewhere where you're not is just a recipe for disaster. If you're truly wanting to arrive at your destination, you got this.
And so to sum it up, take a financial health check, track your vitals, and make the necessary changes. I know, it's not glamorous, but it is very necessary.
Again, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. And speaking of goals and destinations,
what's your goal?
Next, we're going to talk about goal setting, especially when it comes to financial goals, like how much money will you need to retire? What kind of income will you need in order to retire? How long will it take you to build that income? Is what you're currently doing going to help you get there? Setting a goal is the most important part of this process. Knowing where you currently stand is where you're starting from.
But knowing where you're going, that's everything.
So follow us to the next video. I'm Angelique.
And I'm Donnell.
And our goal is to help you
get self-directed.
To do that, you got to set some goals.
Head on over here.